Okay, I think we're good to go. So welcome everybody. It is so lovely to have so many people joining us today. I know we've got people all over Australia, and special shout out. I know we've got some wonderful supporters even joining us internationally. So thanks, Paula. I know you're online, so lovely to have you on board. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners for all the land on which we are joining from today. For me in particular, that is the Gangaloo people, and I would like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I would like to make a very special welcome to 4 special guests who we have on here today, who are here to show their support for Kopi and her family. So we have Jane Caro, Kylea Tink, Dr. Monique and Sonja Simmons, who have all joined us today, and we'll get to hear from all of them shortly. I want to give my heartfelt thanks to all these incredible women for joining us today. I know they are all incredibly busy. They all have to run off to other election campaign events after this, so you will see them all quickly disappear after they've spoken, and that just makes it all the more special that they've been able to join us. It always feels like a family reunion whenever we hold these events. It's been 4 long years, so it does feel like we've all become family. And what a wonderful reunion to come together for, that of young Kopika's 7th birthday. And so I'm going to give a very special welcome to the birthday girl of honour, along with her mum Priya, dad Nadez and sister Tani, who are joining us all the way from Perth. So welcome, Kopika. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
So for Priya, it meant so much that Kopika gets to share her birthday with her extended family. Every single one of you watching who has welcomed this family with open arms has become part of their world and part of their family. So it's so special that you get to be with us today. Kopi is no ordinary 7-year-old. This is her first birthday in 5 years that she is not behind fences of a detention centre, and she is not with guards. This is the first birthday that she remembers that she actually gets to be in a house with her family. She's got cake, she's got presents, and she gets to have a fun time. Unfortunately, though, she's still not truly free. Her family continues to be held under community detention conditions. But Kopi is a dreamer. And I know her greatest dream, we talk about your dreams all the time, don't we, Kopika? And her greatest dream is that she gets to come back to Biloela. So you may be wondering why we have political candidates joining us for a 7-year-old birthday party. That's normally not something that happens. However, it is these politicians who have the power to make her dream come true. We have already had assurances from the Labor Party, the Greens, a number of independents and minor parties, including these 4 women who are on here today. And they have given their assurance that they will return Priya, Nadez and the girls to Biloela and allow them to remain safely in Australia. However, these assurances will only mean something if these politicians are put into power come May 21st. And this is where all of you come into it. It has been the incredible movement of people power that has continued to keep Priya, Nadez and the girls safely in Australia. And I am determined it is going to be people power that sees them return to Biloela. So we are going to hear from these 4 incredible candidates, as well as incredible humans, about why they are showing their support for this family. So it's my pleasure to welcome our first speaker today, who is Jane Caro, AM, who is the Reason Party's candidate for the New South Wales Senate. Jane is a Walkley award-winning Australian columnist, author, novelist, broadcaster, documentary maker, feminist and social commentator, and a well-known activist for many causes. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Jane.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the lands on which I'm sitting. I'm actually in a hotel room in Albury, so that these are the lands of the Wiradjuri people, and just say that this always has been and always will be Aboriginal land like all the rest of Australia. And then the second thing I have to do is say happy birthday, Kopika. 7 is a milestone. That's okay. It's fantastic that you are 7 years old. It's a milestone birthday because you are now, a big girl, not a little girl at all, a big girl. And it is an absolute privilege and a pleasure to be at your birthday celebration on the very day. I hope I won't be too boring and keep you from your cake for too long. It's also a pleasure to meet and a privilege to meet Priya and Nadez and Tani. I'm really delighted to meet you. I've obviously heard a great deal about you over the years and have followed what this country has done to you with shame, really. I think what we've done is awful. It upsets me. It continues to upset me. So I would be delighted if I was lucky enough to be elected to the Senate to do everything I can to make sure that you go back to your home, to Biloela, to the people gathered here on this screen and listening and watching, particularly from Biloela, who have fought so long and so hard and have been so persistent in their determination to make this country behave with the decency that I think most Australians actually hold dear. Unfortunately, some of our leaders seem to have forgotten what that decency is about, and it is certainly about never, ever, ever using the suffering of human beings as some kind of a deterrent. That is just morally wrong, and a country like Australia should never behave in that way. I am opposed to our policy on refugees across the board, and I want to see us be the generous country that we once were, open-hearted, open-spirited, and willing to share the great good fortune we have with others who seek refuge on our shores. I think that's what Australia was. It used to be that way, I think, when I was young. I still remember Bob Hawke welcoming all the Chinese students when the Tiananmen Square massacre happened. I remember Malcolm Fraser welcoming refugees from Vietnam at the end of that war. That's two prime ministers from two different parties who approached the issue of people fleeing persecution in a completely different way than any of our leaders from any of the two major parties have done over the last 2 decades. I don't like the idea of going backwards, but I wish we could return to that level of decency. And it's one of the things that motivated me to stand for office, that I wanted to see a return to, I can't think of a better word, to decency and generosity of spirit. So Kopika, one of the things I just want to say to you is, when you go back to Bilo, because I don't think for a minute you won't, I think you will. I think that's going to happen. But when you do, and when you go to school and you study and you learn, maybe one day you might stand for office. You might decide to be a politician and enter the Australian Parliament and remind us all that decency matters, and that some of the very, very best citizens in this country have come here seeking refuge. And it's not just to their benefit, it's to our benefit, because they bring with them their courage, their determination, the care they have for their family, and the desire to give them the best life possible. We need more people who approach life like that. So happy birthday, Kopika. I love your dresses. They're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gorgeous. And if Priya, if you haven't, to you too, and Priya, if you haven't thought of starting your own label for children's clothes, may I suggest that to you? I've got a granddaughter who's 4. I'd buy a whole heap straight away. My grandchildren, Alfie and Esther, send you happy birthday wishes, Kopika. They're 4 and 6.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will say bye-bye. Thank you for asking me to join this celebration. As I say, it's an enormous privilege, and I hope that we can become the Australia we used to be and we should be again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jane. And I'm sure we all agree that hopefully that wish for decency might become a magical birthday wish this year. That's certainly what we're hoping for as well. But gosh, it's been good to have your support with this, Jane. So we really appreciate that you were able to come and join us for Kopika's birthday today. So thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next guest, Kylea Tink. So Kylea has been a successful CEO and board director for a number of organisations, and is currently running as the independent candidate for North Sydney. She's a Northbridge mum who has lived and worked in her electorate and raised her family there for over 15 years. So thanks so much, Kylea, for joining us online tonight for Kopi's birthday. I'll hand over for you.
It's such a pleasure to be here. Kopika, can I just say thank you so much for inviting me tonight. I know you had hundreds of people that you could have invited, but to let me join you is such a special, special thing. So thank you so much. I'm actually coming to you from a spot in Sydney called Northbridge, which is actually on the traditional lands of the Camaragal people. And so I'm going to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging as well. Kopika, I think you and your family are pretty extraordinary. And I want to pay my respects to you, your mum, Priya, your dad, Nadez, and your lovely little sister, Tani, because you guys are doing something that not a lot of Australians have had to go through, which is picking up and moving around to different parts of our country because you're not quite sure where you're going to end up. It's really interesting for me. You know, back before you were even born, when I think about it. So back in 2015, I got to work with an extraordinary group of people who decided that kids just like you shouldn't be held in detention centres anymore, that it was completely the wrong thing for our country to be doing, and that our government, who ultimately represents us, shouldn't be doing that to kids. So we ran a campaign called We're Better Than This Australia. And that campaign was all about getting kids out of the centres that you've seen the inside of. Kopika, can you remember what was it like when you were in the last detention centre that you were in?
I didn't like being there. It was
Was it lots of fun?
No.
No. How was the food? Pretty bad?
Good.
Not good? And you know what? You should never have had to be there. So first and foremost, I'm going to say I'm really sorry that you got to go on that adventure, because that wasn't an adventure that you chose and you shouldn't have had to go there. The second thing I want to tell you is I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that you and your family get to go home to Biloela, because I've been to Biloela. I've been to Biloela a number of times, and it is a pretty cool place to hang out, isn't it? Yeah. So from my perspective, so when you look at me, the reality is that I'm in a race at the moment to try and win a seat in the Australian federal government. And if I get my little bottom into that seat, I'll actually be speaking for 110,000 people here in Sydney. And do you know what those 110,000 people have told me to tell you?
No.
happy birthday, and we really want you to go home to Biloela because that's where you deserve to be. So I wish you could send me a piece of cake. I feel like I'm going to have to go and raid my own fridge to find the chocolate in my house. But you just know, as you're celebrating this birthday, because I know it's your 5th one away from Biloela now, isn't it? 5 years away. Well, the really good news is that Biloela is not going anywhere because it's been there the whole time I've been around. And I know I probably don't look very old, but I'm actually quite grown up. And I can promise you that when you're ready to go home to Biloela, Biloela will be there for you. And then we can do as many birthdays as you like in Biloela from that day forward, okay? And you're going to have to tell me, though, what's your favourite flavour in cake?
Vanilla.
Oh, yes! I'm so glad you said that. Personally, I think chocolate is completely overrated, so I'm very happy to cook you
I
a
like
vanilla.
chocolate and vanilla.
Okay, well, what about strawberry?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, well, you know what? Let's have a Napolitana
Even chocolate
cake.
chips.
Chocolate chips? What about Tani? What's Tani's favourite flavour?
Tani's favourite flavour is strawberry chocolate and vanilla chocolate chips.
Oh, that's just said exactly like a good big sister. I'm a big sister and we get to make all the good big sister ideas, don't we? So, and what about mum and dad's? What's Priya and Nadez's favourite flavours?
My dad likes spicy.
Yeah, yum, yum. Well, I really look forward to being able to come and enjoy many, many more birthdays with you, Kopika. So thank you for letting me be here today.
Thank you.
And just know I'm thinking of you and sending you lots of love, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, thank you for your
Happy
love and
birthday.
support. Please, in the politician power, people power, please, my life is changed. I hope. Thank you so much, joined.
Priya, honestly, there's 110,000 people here in North Sydney who are behind you. So please don't ever doubt that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kylie, for that heartfelt message. Now I'm going to introduce Dr. Monique Ryan, who is not a career politician, and that's why she's running as an independent candidate for Kooyong. Prior to putting her hand up to represent the people of Kooyong, Dr. Ryan was the Director of Neurology at the Royal Children's Hospital. It's my great pleasure to welcome her.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Yeah,
Good. Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you all. I think I've not met you before, so it's a great privilege, Kopi, to be invited to your birthday party. Thank you. I hope you've had a lovely day. I do agree, Priya, that those dresses are amazing. I am the world's worst sewer, so I am lost in admiration of those beautiful, beautiful dresses. So well done you. So I'm in Melbourne, where it's very, very cold today. And I've been out doing the election thing, which means standing in the street asking people if they might vote for me. But as the lady said before, so I'm a doctor for children usually, and before I decided I wanted to try and go to Canberra to be a politician, I've been a doctor for children for a long time, and I've got 3 kids of my own. So I think I'm really sorry that you've been through this incredibly tough time as a family, and I do feel like the others have expressed that. I want to apologise. You know, that we've put you through this country has put you through this dreadfully difficult time. As a parent, I know that the things I've found the hardest about being a parent is uncertainty. I think it's really hard when you don't know what the future holds or what the time frame for things is. And I know that, you know, when you're trying to plan for your family and you're not able to do that, it's very, very difficult. I do want you to know, as Kylie said, that, you know, in my electorate in Melbourne, there's a whole lot of people who'd like you to be allowed to go home to Bilo and to be together. And you know, we're all hoping and praying that after the election we can help that, make that happen. In the meantime, I want you, as a doctor, I have to warn you, can't eat too much cake today, because then you'll feel sick in your tummy, and that wouldn't be good. But also, you've got to be careful with those beautiful dresses. If I had a dress like that, I would put cake down the front of it in about 3 seconds flat, and I'll get into trouble from my mum. So it's lovely to meet you all. I do promise you that, you know, if I can get to Canberra, and I really, really hope to get to Canberra in the election, then I will do everything that I possibly can to help you get back to Bilo. And I know that that will make you happy, but it will also give a lot of joy to the people in my electorate who feel deeply shamed by how our country has treated you in the last few years. And we would like to make amends for that as best we can, as soon as we can. So have a lovely day today, and I hope to meet you in person in the future.
Okay, thank you so much, love and support. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Monique. You know, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's the uncertainty, you know, that really just rips at your heart. So hopefully we can get some certainty for this family soon. Yeah, maybe with you in a seat in Canberra as well. So fingers crossed. We're really, really grateful that you were able to pop in and meet with Kopika and Priya and Nadez and Tani and all of us today. So thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Sonja Simmons. So Sonya is the Greens candidate for the Inner Melbourne seat of Higgins. Sonya is a mum as well and a lifelong climate advocate. And she's worked in the not-for-profit sector for over 20 years trying to make her community stronger. We really appreciate that you're able to make it here to tonight's gathering, Sonya.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I'd like to start by also paying my respects to the traditional owners of the land that I'm on. I'm down here in South Yarra. That's the land of the Wurundjeri and Woiwurrung people. The land was never ceded. And I want to thank you too, Kopi, for inviting me to your birthday. It's such a pleasure to be here. I haven't worn my party dress today and I regret it. I want to tell you that. I wish I'd worn a beautiful dress too. When I first saw you on TV, like many other Australians, it was in a story about a birthday that you had a few years ago. And I think that there was no cake then. So I am overjoyed to hear that there's going to be cake today. What happened and that story at that time to your family was heartbreaking, and it was nonsensical, and we all knew it, and everyone in Australia knew that it wasn't fair and it wasn't right. I'm someone who I've worked alongside NGOs, including the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre and other agencies like BAPCare for 20 years to give sanctuary to families like yours. But, you know, I'm a mum to a little girl who's just a little bit older than you, Kopi. She's 11, so a few years older than you. But I remember when she was your age and your size. And when I think about how she grew every year, you know, she changed every year so much. Her little brain was a sponge, and she had these big listening ears, and every day she was learning about what it means to be a human in our world. You know, is she safe? Is she loved? Is she around her community and her family? And it, you know, it breaks my heart and the heart of everyone in Australia to know that you have done so much of your learning through the uncertainty that we're talking about. And I think you've been very courageous, and it's a real joy to see you smiling today with your family and your sister and your mum and dad. So for your 7th birthday, I'm going to give you 7 things. And I need to tell you that the first few are a little bit boring, but they have very, very good outcome. I also want to tell you that I'm giving you these 7 things with a whole political party. I'm hoping to represent a community here in Melbourne, but also I come from a political party called the Greens, who have been working very hard for a very long time to give you these things. So number 1, we'd like to give you an end to offshore detention. Now, I know they're big words, but they're really important. And the important thing is we're going to end that detention and give you a big hug of welcome instead. Number 2, I'd like to give you that we'll increase our humanitarian intake. We think that we don't need higher walls. We just need to build a longer table, and we want you to be at it with your family. Number 3, we'd like to abolish these temporary protection visas. We know that they're a terrible and an arbitrary idea. And instead, number 4, we'd like to give permanent protection visas so that you can build a life here in your community and live in it without the uncertainty. Number 5, now this one's a bit fun because I actually heard on Twitter that an excellent author, Andy Griffiths, was reading your birthday poem. So we'll see what we can do about a unicorn and a tutu. And finally tonight, the last thing that I'd like to give for your birthday copy is a very public call. It's a public call to the Prime Minister of our country, and his name is Scott Morrison. And this is the public call that I'd like to make to Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Mr. Morrison, as the sun sets on your government, I ask that your last act as Prime Minister is one of compassion. With the stroke of a pen, a magic pen if you like, you can send this beautiful little girl and her family home. So I implore you as a person of faith to a person of faith to set this family free. Send them home to Bilo. So there you are. That's the 7 things, Kopi. I know they're a little bit grown up, but they come with all of my love and my very happy birthday wishes to you. And I tell you what, I look forward to your 8th birthday because I think we're going to be back in Bilo. And that'll be a good one. And I will wear a proper party dress then. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, your love and support.
Thank you so much, Priya.
Thank you so much, Sonya. And we can't wait to welcome you and everyone to Biloela for Kopika's 8th birthday. I think it will be a pretty big bash. So I can't wait for everyone to be able to come with their party dresses on and we can celebrate in style. So I'd love to just thank each and every one of you again for coming and speaking tonight. We really appreciate it and do understand if you do need to head. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Bye-bye.
So
see you later, sweetheart.
now it's time for us to actually hear from the people of the moment. So Priya and Kopika, Nadez and Tani, we're going to let you have a little chat because there are so many people watching this right now live. And I know that everyone just wants to know you and everyone just wants to hear from you, know how you are. So I'm going to, Priya, let you say a few words if you want. And then I know that Bronwyn has some beautiful mum questions because I think every child loves to hear about themselves on their birthday. And I know Kopika, I know she loves hearing all about the stories of when she was little. And so it will be just lovely to share some of those. So Priya, I'll let you have a word.
Okay. Kopika born in the Bilo is, I'm very happy. It's my small community, love and kind community. But a short time is happy in my Bilo. I miss my baby grow, everything. Good things in the Kopika born time. I go to the church, I go to the hospital, everybody hello, all walk around, everybody hello, love sharing my baby. But now missing my baby, everything, both girls. I hope one day back to Bilo, all love together.
Yeah. I remember Priya, you know, when I first met you and baby Kopika in the hospital in Biloela, hey, and even back then Kopika had a smile that would light up a room. And yeah, it was amazing. Does it feel like it's been 7 years?
Yeah, 7 years, very fast.
There's been a lot happen in that 7 years, I guess, hey?
This 7 years, I miss lots, My girls miss lots.
Yeah.
This suffering life is girls is normal life in the Bilo, very happy, very intelligent.
I remember, and even in Woolworths, you know, Kopika you'd have to stop your trolley every so often because Kopika would be smiling at everybody. So everybody would have to stop and say hello to her. She was a very social baby, hey? So I think she helped everyone get to know you because she was, very social.
I miss in the Bilo party, in the Christmas party, cultural party.
Yeah.
Everything I miss in the Bilo.
And at our Lions Park, I know, Harry had some plays there with Kopi in our Lions Park. We've got a great park here in Biloela, with lots of activities for kids. So, in one way, it seems like it was just yesterday, but there has been so much heartache that's happened between now and then. So we need to get you home so we can have those girls safe and enjoy those times again.
Yeah, baby, the Kopika young time, all is below sweet memory.
Yeah.
I lost now everything.
Yeah.
And it's all still waiting here for you.
And we've got there's another park in Bilo now too, down at Melton Park. They've got some new equipment there. So that'll be fantastic for you to see when you get home.
Ooh.
Yeah, that will be exciting.
So Kopika, I would love to let people get to know you a little bit because I've been very lucky that I get to spend a lot of time with you and I know so many things about you that I think other people will love to learn as well. So let's start with something easy. What's your favourite colour?
Yellow.
Yellow. And that's why you chose yellow for your party dress.
Yes.
Yes.
And I want a cockatoo cake.
And you are getting a cockatoo cake on Saturday, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. What colour is the cockatoo cake going to be?
White and yellow.
Yes. And so tell us, what's your favourite thing to do?
Have a best party.
Have a party?
Yes.
Yeah, and what would you do at your party?
I always like to cut the cakes.
You enjoy cutting cakes?
And I give them to people.
So, you showed us before, I wonder if you would like to show everyone watching, you have got a special cake there right now, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to hold it up so everyone can see it? And what do we do when people have a cake? Is there something we sing?
Happy birthday.
Yes. So how about we will light the candle and we're going to have a very special happy birthday from all your Dendel cousins.
Yes. We've got the biggest group here ready to sing, yes, from the Biloela cousins here. Hopefully we can get it in tune. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kopika. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Yay!
You're going to blow the candle out.
Thank you so much.
And make a special birthday wish.
I wish if I could come to Bilo.
Let's all make that happen.
One day.
Let's make it happen.
Next birthday, Biloela Lakonradom, okay?
Next birthday, Biloela.
I want cake.
You want cake now?
Yeah, I don't really want it. I just like the spots.
Yes.
They have yellow.
I hope in the Tanika birthday,
Yellow.
enjoy the Bilo.
Yeah, Tanika's birthday is next, isn't it? You're getting ready for your birthday, Tani? Next.
Yes.
Yeah.
My sister's excited for her birthday.
Oh, we love birthdays. Oh,
So,
gosh. We've actually, oh, I was going to say, sorry, you go, Angela.
so we have had some questions that have come through on the live chat. So I'm going to read them out and I'm going to let Bronwyn and Simone jump in and answer them. So we've got a question from Carly, who has said, I don't understand why they are allowed to stay where they are, but are not allowed to go home to Biloela. I don't understand.
Yes, don't understand.
Nobody understands.
No.
No.
Punished.
Did you want to answer that one, Simone? Or
Sure. I think the short answer, Carly, is that we don't understand either.
Yes.
But the slightly longer answer is that last June, Nadez, Priya and Kopika were granted bridging visas, and those bridging visas are later extended and they will expire in September this year. But little Tanika, unfortunately, was not granted a bridging visa, so she remains technically in community detention, which means that she has to stay living in a certain house where the minister tells her to live, and that's why the whole family cannot come back to Biloela. We just need one more bridging visa. It would be so easy.
So we've had another comment, which I think is a very timely comment with what's going on in the world at the moment, and that's surely the current situation in Sri Lanka should encourage this government to change its inhumane stance. So Bronwyn, do you want to speak to that one?
yeah, and look, you know, it's at least now it's obvious to, very obvious to the rest of the world that, you know, the corruption, you know, that has been existing in Sri Lanka. But you know, interestingly enough, the government gets their reports about whether it's safe for Tamils in Sri Lanka from the Sri Lankan government. So they're doing the whole nothing to see here. So even though independent reports from the United Nations, Red Cross, Amnesty International all talk about the danger that Tamils face in Sri Lanka, for whatever reason, our government has ignored those reports and has only taken the report from the Sri Lankan government. So, you know, and now we can see there's further unrest for the entire country. So it's not a safe place for a lot of people now, on top of what, you know, Tamils have the persecution Tamils have had to live with. So that is an excellent point. So yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. Now our next question, Kopika can answer this. So Kopika, people are wondering, do you get to go to school?
Yes.
Yes. And what grade are you in at school?
2.
Grade 2. So Kopika and Tani do both go to school. So they go to school in the Perth community. And I know both the girls love school. What's your favourite part of school, Kopika?
My favourite part of school is learning about maths.
Maths. Good choice. I know Uncle Alan loves maths, so that's a good one. And what about you, Tani? What's your favourite thing at school?
I like to play with my friends.
Yeah, you like having fun with your friends. Beautiful.
I still sit with my friends.
Yeah.
Me
You
too.
sit with your friends while you do maths, don't you?
Yes, I even talk to them.
Lunchtime at
I
school.
go to match up my school.
So they are both incredibly bright girls. They love practicing their writing and their reading and their spelling, and they're even more clever than me because they can do it in 2 languages, can't you? You can do it in Tamil and in English.
Yes. One day we'll learn lots.
They've already told me they're going to teach me Tamil when they come back to Bilo, aren't you? Yes.
Even Alan Uncle. Even Alan.
We'll all learn. So we've also had some lovely comments. So I'm going to read some of these out so that you can hear them, Kopika. So Jan has said, a very special birthday to you, Kopika. Truly hope you're back in Biloela one day soon. And then we've got Isabel, who has said, happy birthday, Kopika. Praying the government shows compassion and allows you to go home. Happy birthday, Kopika from Kuyong. Oh,
And
so
then
many.
Lloyd has also said that this is Lloyd said this is such a happy and tearful occasion for all of us. We love this Biloela family. We feel for you, and the majority of us never wanted you to go through this ordeal. So thanks, Lloyd. I think that's probably shared by a lot of you.
And a great comment from Joe. Let's remember these beautiful little girls when we vote. Please do. And Monica, so heartening to have extraordinary politicians come to share this birthday celebration. This enabled more of us to know their intentions, such people of integrity. Thanks so much. And now we've got a question for Nadez. So Joanne has asked, where does Nadez work? So what do you do, Nadez?
Restaurant. Restaurant.
Delhi restaurant.
India na vela sera.
So Nadez works at an Indian restaurant?
Mainly restaurant, Sri Lankan restaurant, the chef. Indian.
So Nadez is an incredible cook, and it's one of the reasons we want them back here in Biloela is because we really want Priya and Nadez to open a restaurant here in Biloela. I know we will be eating there every night. So
Sure. We'll be the helpers. We will be the helpers.
Who's going to wash the dishes? Maybe Love having volunteers for dishwashing. It's actually a good point though, because there's some, there are some places in Bilo at the moment that can't offer meals because we haven't got chefs. So, it would be awesome to have Nadez home.
Absolutely.
My dad's a chef.
He is a chef. You've got very clever parents, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. So one last comment from Trish. I thought of your beautiful family when I cast my vote at pre-polling. Best wishes from Noosa in Queensland. And we've also got Patricia saying she sent an email to her federal member and told him, I will vote for the person who publicly champions your family. So you've got so much support out there.
Yeah, thanks.
So I'm going to hand over to Simone, who's going to wrap things up for us.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for those wonderful questions and comments, and thank you for your time tonight, and also for your endless support for this special birthday girl and her wonderful family. So just as Kopika has been counting down the sleeps to her birthday, we are counting down the sleeps until the election. And I counted today, and I think there are 9 sleeps until the election. We are not telling anybody who to vote for, but of course we do want to take this chance to ask you to make your vote count for our family. We've heard tonight from independents who have not only voiced their support, but they've actually shown up for our friends. And that means a tremendous deal to us. The Home to Bilo team also remembers that in our very first vigils for this family, 4 long years ago, candidates from the Greens from all around Australia were willing to speak up and act for our friends right from the very beginning. The Labor Party's position is that this family should be returned to Biloela immediately, And this is a position that we've heard echoed by various members, the leader, Anthony Albanese, Senator Christina Keneally, and many, many others. Even members of the LNP think that Nadez, Priya, Kopika and Thanika should be returned, including the Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce and several other MPs. But Scott Morrison and his Immigration Minister Alex Hawke have steadfastly refused to acknowledge that the majority of parliamentarians and the majority of Australians want this family returned home to Bilo. Please make your vote count for this family. And before May the 21st, there's more you can do. You can talk to your friends, you can talk to your family members and remind them that our friends' safety hinges on this election outcome. If you haven't already, you can sign our petition. That's at change.org/home to Bilo. You can keep calling and emailing MPs and senators to let them know that we won't stop until the family are home to Bilo, where they are wanted and welcome. We know that Alex Hawke could do this one small act of granting the last bridging visa that they need tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. I think it is only right that we finish this call with how we always finish our calls, and we have a nice big hug for our girl's birthday. So are you ready, Kopika?
Yes.
Yes. Are you ready? We're going to have 1, 2, 3, big hug. Ah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone. Please, thinking in the politician, people power is politician power, changing my life. Thinking my family back to Bilo. Thank you so much, you love and support. Thank you.
Whatever it takes, we'll bring you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See ya.
See you. Bye.